There are questions about the true priorities of America's largest union and the people responsible for teaching our children. Earlier this month, the National Education Association hosted their annual assembly. And the main focus was not on bringing up America's failing test scores for preparing our kids for the future. Oh, no. It was all about fighting President Trump. I mean, I know they can spell TDS because they've got it. Just listen to this firsthand account from the Free Press. Quote, one convention delegate from Texas summarized the NEA's business items by telling me the response that a friend of hers got while trying to talk to other union members about the best ways to, God bless you, Emily, to teach reading and writing. We don't have time for that. We've got to fight Trump, her friend was told. And some of the NEA's approved business items included $3,500 to defend democracy against, quote, Trump's embrace of fascism, support for and participation in anti-Trump protests, opposition to ISIS, quote, kidnappings of student leaders. And the organization's president left no doubt about her support for DEI.
We cannot fear the future. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Say the words. Say the words. Say them. You are powerful. You are the NEA. Hold your head high. Hold your head high. NEA. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Hold your head high.
It was like an exorcism. Look, Alicia, I have a problem with anybody going near kids that doesn't know that the word is not two syllables.
Oh, yeah, like very good pointers, yes. So everything you were talking about, I'm listening to it going, this is an exact reflection of something that my family experienced personally. This was during COVID. My son was a freshman in high school, and he was, in our living room in his freshman class. And I'm listening to the teacher all of a sudden start talking about the Fox News Channel and some of our hosts and saying very negative things. And I went, are you in a journalism class now? What class are you in? And he said, this is geography. And then he said to me, Mom, I can't say anything because I can't look like a Trump supporter. Oh, and I said, you're a freshman in high school. You're not supporting anything. You're going to school. And he said, I can't even look like I am. And I said, there are kids on that Zoom, Mario, whose parents voted for Trump.
Amen.
And they're listening. And he said, I know, but I can't say anything and they can't say anything either. And it was at that time that I realized it was an incredibly rude awakening about what has happened to the public school system, which I'd always believed in.
So I have to ask this follow. Your son's concern was about the embarrassment, about pushback from whom? The fellow students or the faculty?
I think a little bit of both, for sure. And as a freshman, because he was a freshman going into a new school, I didn't want to push him, and I wasn't going to go to the school and make a scene because it wasn't going to help him in his school years. But yes, he was definitely concerned about pushback from the teachers, absolutely 100%. And then once word starts going around a school like that, which this did happen, other students kind of join in. And we'd seen that in the past with students who had actually changed schools when they'd spoken up.
All right. So if we ever wondered if there were indoctrination going on, one of the industry's best correspondents is sitting across the couch from us, giving us the facts.
Well, and Alicia is a great mommy. I know that. Well, I mean, look, this goes to show you when you look at all this stuff, the segment we're covering, why roughly 70% of kids cannot read or do math at grade level benchmarks despite spending $1 trillion per year on our kids' education because of this. And the irony is President Trump and Secretary Linda McMahon, they're the only ones that care about our kids and the education they're getting because they care about outcomes, because they want to improve those outcomes. They want kids to be able to, to be able to read and do math. And that's also showing why national test scores show that we're at a 30 or 40-year lows. Also, the irony is you look at between the NEA and the AFT, they collect about $3 billion in members' dues per year. So they're cashing in politically, but our kids are losing from an education standpoint.
Where does that money go?
Probably to fund political efforts, more or less, or I guess some of this stuff that they're putting out, misspelling fascism is my understanding in one of the documents for the NE. or to be yelled at by the lady that we just heard there.
The public exorcism.
Who scared me. Yes, I was a little scared watching that. So feel bad for the kids having to watch that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't care about the kids.
So, Emily, I think as a parent, maybe the biggest concern is how do you undo some of that garbage when your kid comes home? And where can you put them?
Put the
children. I mean, are we all going to move to certain states? Or, I mean, how do you get away from the largest union in the country?
Well, I think that we've seen an absolute exodus that began under COVID into homeschooling, into classical education, into any type of entity that isn't the federalized Department of Education ran union-heavy schools. And I think this is representing such sort of a stale position. You know, it's like they're still in that COVID time. And I find it so telling when you ask, you know, where's the money going? I mean, it's not going to the salary of the teachers who are educating. It's going to anything but. And what sort of horrified me, I don't know, in the litany of things that horrified me about this, a commitment to prioritize the union wants the 2026 federal, state, and local elections as a pivotal moment for our democracy by ensuring their message reaches the communities most impacted by this administration's, excuse me, disastrous policies. And then the union's going to go on to explore programs like this, you guys, funding 10 locals in each state who apply with full-time organizers up to $100,000 per local to run campaigns in alignment with this fight for democracy. If you were to read that in a vacuum, you would think it was a massively political PAC or a grassroots organization demanding something ridiculous. To think that it's actually aligned with education of our youth, the public schools, when none of them can even read their own names and none of these guys can even spell fascism. It is mind-boggling, the tone-deaf arena they live in that is so obtuse and so opaque as to think that anyone would support this. It's absolute theft of our taxpayer dollars, and it has been a complete thievery of the entire education system, which is why this is laughable. That's the thing. I mean, this is a big beast, by the way, that got real mad when you tried to take away its food. So what we're watching is a sort of crisis on their hands, but it's not going to go any further. It's going to self-implode.
Well, they don't care. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the opaqueness that you talk about, the opacity, I should say, that you talk about is the real problem here, because when you tell me that it's $3 billion and then we're all trying to figure out where all the money's going and it's for politics, that doesn't help one child in America.
No. I mean, look, this devolves to one place. This is about power. And ultimately, what the NEA, what the teachers union in general wants here is to make sure that they control our collective future. It's one of the real substantive differences between the left and the right. The left wants control of every aspect of your life. The right wants limited government. You're allowed to make more of your own decisions. It's a constitutional republic. We elect local leaders, et cetera. They want to control everything down to your shower head, okay? Whether you can have a gas stove. It's all about ultimate power here, and children are the ultimate weapon. Weaponizing children against what could be a greater lever against parents. And that's why you have to go all the way to SCOTUS to be able to even opt out of a simple lesson. They want to make sure that they inculcate in children the future that they want. Why? Because they're going to run it.
Just real quickly, because I've often wondered this. I think it is a crime against humanity that we haven't heard anything come out of these teachers' unions about all the missing children who were brought here illegally. And you want to know where you could spend some money. I mean, help us find those people as a society as they grow up. I mean, it is fascinating to me that they say they care about kids and ours should come first. But I think under Mayorkas, former DHS secretary, there were some 300,000 kids missing.
We had kids protesting in 2020, since you put it in that context, during the George Floyd Summer of Love protest. One of the things, I was working still then, one of the commonalities was in the middle of a work day, middle of a school day, okay? This is before, into the autumn of that year. You would have whole classes, and the teacher would be there with the kids, shoving them at the police lines, screaming, "There's the enemy." Now, I saw that, so I know it happens. And when those kids are raised in that environment, well, where do you think it ultimately terminates? They grow up in the same way. They buy into all of this, and this is why you're going to get, by the way, Mayor Mamdani wants to make Jamal Bowman his school chancellor here in New York City. Where do you think that's going to go?
Wait a minute, the guy who pulled the fire alarm so he could
Precisely.
stop a vote in the Capitol?
Affirmative.
That shenanigan guy?
Your Honor, I
goodness.
rest my case.
Okay, yes, you do.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.